Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here for another track guide this week for the V8 veterans or whoever wants to view it for Watkin Glen short course. So everyone probably familiar with the long course, the one that goes right up through the bus stop, comes around, then goes left. This one just goes around through the bus stop, comes around and goes completely right, then comes back around and comes back on the straight. So yeah, that's the course for this week for the V8 veterans. Once again, bit of a shout out to Play One Sims. Really getting used to the gloves now. Can't race without them. So, guys, have a look at those if you haven't had a look at them already. Scotty's put a couple of posts up. He's got a pair, and yeah, a few other people. If anything, how cool do they look? But use them in the garden if you don't want to use them on your sim rig. But yeah, I'm finding them really good. The only thing is the fat fingering for keyboards. But yeah, basically no one really uses that anyway. So once you've got it all set up on your oh. Oh, okay. So yeah, sorry, I was hitting buttons there. All right, guys. So I'm going to take you just the usual, just take you out on a slow lap, do a bit of a quick lap, and then show you the quickest lap in two views, and we'll have a talk through it. So I'll jump in the car here, boys and girls. Headset on. All right. It's coming out of the pits. Bit of a shorter pits or average sort of pits this week. Limit 64 kilometres. So for anyone that wants to know or doesn't keep an eye on it. All right. So the standard brake bias, as you can see here, guys, is 51.6, as Jamie said here. I've run with a few different setups this week. This one is awesome. For me, especially because it's got, yeah, heaps of turn in, but it's also got the, I call it turn out, but it's oversteer on the way out, so it helps you sort of get the arse end around and get out of the corners. So I'll just take you out here, guys. We'll try not to interfere with anyone else. Well, I probably should turn the voices down, but yeah, too late for that, I think. Let me have a little geezer here. See if I can just find it. Oh, look at that. Alright, found it. With the gloves on. Alright, it's coming out of the pits here, guys. Don't think we got anyone behind us. Turn the volley up a bit here. Actually, I think I turned it down here, so let's turn that back up. There we go. Alright. It's coming into the first corner there. It can be a tricky one. I always come right across, hug this left curb. I actually run it a little bit and then come back across, hug the right curb as hard as you can. You're shifting up into sixth gear by the time you're about here. As I said, I'll talk you through that one in a bit slower. The whole track guide basically slower. But I slow down here just at about the 400. Sort of aim more for the corner and then get as tight to that wall as you can. Don't take a lot of that curb, but then take a bit of this curb and a fair bit of this curb on the way out. Sticking in fourth, coming around here, I off and then down to third, sweeping it out just a little bit, about a car length. And then I start coming in really nice and tight in third, and then hitting fourth on the way out of that one. It's coming all the way up the little back straight here. So as I said, really quick, short course here this week, guys. I'm all the way up in sixth usually here, just before the 300, back to fifth. Braking first, back to fourth. Nice and tight through here and getting a good accelerator. Try not to go too wide out there, you will lose a bit of time. And then at the left wall there, the end of that little blue wall, you're back to third. And then banging your way out here onto the straight. Just watch that wall on the left there, that you don't skip out there and lose the arse end. Alright, so I'm staying in fifth here, guys, on the fast lap. Just before the 300 here. Through the gears, back down to third. I just keep it in third, as there's a good bit of turning on this setup. This probably won't be the quickest lap, but we'll see how we go. Nice and tight in here. Just at the end of this curb on, oh, right here, I come back across, and then hugging this one nice and tight there. I found you can hang it out a little bit more on that, coming around that right-hander and then coming across, but it can tend to lead to an easy fluff up and just eating shit into that wall. At the 400 there, on the brakes, back to fourth, nice and tight there. A little bit of that curb, big chunk out of this curb, big chunk out of this curb. Just watch that one, it can spit you out a bit. Back to third, try not to drift out too fast there, and then back on the accelerator as hard as you can, as quick as you can, without losing the arse end and without getting four-wheel drifter out of there. All the way up into six down the back straight here, guys. And then on brake, back to fourth, fifth, back to fourth. Nice and tight in here. Accelerating out. At the end of the wall. On the brakes first and then back to third. Accelerating out. Not hitting the wall. And that's a quick run through there. 2 seconds slower than my quickest time, guys. So I'll just take you through that one. I did do a sub, as you can see there. As you can see on the Delta there, I did a sub 107. Sub 108, sorry, so 107.95, but that was with the draft. So the draft's not too bad around here. I got about a 10th. You probably get a 20th out of it, I reckon. But we'll go down to the pits here, back to the pits, and then I'll go to my quicker time. Or not the quickest one with the draft. I'll go to the other one. I'm just going to set you guys up here. Just so you got a nice view there of the... Don't know why that bar at the bottom, the taskbar and all that keeps coming up. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, and I'll talk you through a third person view here, or what I call a third person view. Got that up for a second. Why can't I touch that? Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the quick one with the action. It's the 107 there. I'm just going to have a quick look, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it's this 108 here. 108.126 was the quicker time I did. I'm just going to bang that back a little bit, and then I'll set you guys up. I'll show you what I'm going on about. All right, got that nice and close there. Bring the old keyboard over here so I can show you what I'm going through. Take this sucker off so I don't hit any wrong buttons. All right, so coming down the main straight here, guys, as usual. Hopefully this will work. I'm trying to keep it nice and steady for you guys so you can see what the car's doing and not fluff around without me moving my head and looking into corners and stuff like that. So yeah, come down the main straight here, guys. I'll just talk you through it. So as you can see, they're a fair bit before the 300. I get off the accelerator, which is what you could hear there, but then off the accelerator for a good chunk, then back on the brakes. Pretty hard here. I was going to try to show you the delta here, but I don't have it up. Oh, you can see it down here, guys. That's what I was noticing last week. You can actually see the delta down here. So if you sort of, or the telemetry, sorry. So you can see how hard I get on the brake there, and then on the accelerator. No clutch for myself, but anyway, coming into the first corner. I'm only in fifth, so I'm holding fifth all the way up to 300 here. Just before it, getting on the brakes pretty hard there. Back to fourth, back to third in a straight line. I've sort of figured it out. It's not a late apex. It's not a coming in early. It's more of a more in the middle. It's more of a getting on the brakes, making sure that you're at that speed. You're like, okay, that's the speed I need through the corner, and then holding that speed through the corner and starting to accelerate basically before the apex, before you're hitting the apex there. I'll see if I've done it here. So as you can see, sort of coming across, not a real sharp, and then turning in. It's like, or not an early one. It's more of a gradual into the apex of the corner and then accelerating out as hard as you can. You can use you used to be able to use a fair chunk of this bit on the left here. They've narrowed it down now. So if you stick your right tires outside that, I think it's this yellow bit here, you will get a penalty. So just watch that one. So not drifting out too much further than what I've done there, guys. So keeping it on, I keep it on the ripple strip, and then it sets it up for the next right-hander. So I'm coming out of here in third, up into fourth, up into fifth once I hit that corner, holding it basically up in fifth, coming up the hill, sticking to the right side, and then just as you get past that curb on the right side, it's like half a car length, I start coming, like straightening the car out, and then coming back across to the left-hander, as you'll see here. Coming across there, nice and tight, try not to lose the arse end, and then just after that bit there, coming across, so sort of more, yeah, keeping it nice and tight to that right side, just getting past there and then straightening the car out, spotting your curb in your apex, or where you want to hit the curb, and then just coming across, so it's like coming up, straight, coming into the corner there, and then coming out of here, clicking sixth, and then up the little back straight part here, as you'll see. Pretty straightforward up here. So up here at the 400, guys. I hope you can hear me all right. I had a bit of a test earlier. Pretty sure you can, but so as you can see there, the 400 is just up in front here. So just before I got off on this lap, I got off quite a bit before just to see if the coast in would. It's really weird. It's like you're getting off the accelerator earlier, but it's stabling the car so much more that you can actually get a better run and a better mid-corner speed out of the corner. So you're actually gaining time. I gained like half a tenth on that one, so on this lap, and that's what I found. So I'm starting to try to work on that. You got to remember when I put this guide up, we've still got another 2.5 days to practice before the race. So yeah, I've got a lot of time after this to sort of perfect it a little bit more. I always get about another 100th, 200th on my time, so 2/10, sorry. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. So coming into this one, yeah, at the 400, so I'm all the way up in sixth gear. At the 400 off the accelerator, back to fifth, back to fourth, reasonably early, but like before you you're coming across into the bus stop here. As you come into the bus stop, you want to get real tight on that right-hand wall. It is a massive gamble because everyone, I think, shit, I have to get really tight. So they start trying to get tighter, and then you end up hitting the wall and eating shit and putting yourself out of the race. But yeah, so basically just come across in fourth gear, hitting the as close as you can to the wall, jump the curb. Try not to take too much of that next curb. Just bump a tyre up just a little bit because you don't want to get off. You don't want to get unsettled in the middle of the corner, in the middle of the bus stop, coming through, and then just taking a big chunk out of the next one, big chunk out of the next one, as you'll see here, guys. Play it through there. Nice and tight. Little chunk out of that one, and then a big one out of that one, big one out of that one. All right, so coming out of that one nice and quickly, like basically once you've come into the bus stop, you're hitting that first one, you're accelerating out of there. Just sort of figure it out for yourself how much you're going to accelerate out of there. As I keep sort of perfecting the line, I start trying to accelerate a bit harder and harder. But I've noticed sometimes if you're taking too much curb and you've got your foot planted on the accelerator, it will want to kick the arse end out, especially coming out of that. And then coming into this next one, so keep an eye on that one. It's coming into this next big, long right-hander. As you can see, I'm coming across early, getting my nice and tight on the curb early. Once I get through to about here, I'm late shifting back to third, just to slow the car right up. Don't want to drift more than a car length out from the curb. Coming around, getting the car settled and figuring out, all right, it's coming around. You can feel the arse end start to come around. You're like, all right, cool, I'm completely braked. Or as much as I want to. You don't want to brake too much because you don't want to slow the car down completely. But you're in third, it's coming around, you can feel it, and you just start getting back on the accelerator harder, harder, harder. If you get on too early, too hard, the whole car just wants to drift like this completely out of the corner, and it will shoot you out over the curb, over the runoff on the exit of this corner. So just to have a look at this one, guys, I'll just show you through. Coming in nice and tight, just keeping that car length, then accelerating back out, hugging that, like trying to stay nice and close to that curb on the way out on the right hand side there, and then trying not to wash too far over the runoff here on the exit of the right hander there, guys. All right, it's coming up this little back straight. You're all the way up into sixth gear, I've noticed, and you're basically hitting sixth gear just before you're about to go back down the gears as well. So coming up the end of the wall here, just before the 300. So at the end of the wall, maybe between the wall and the 300, figure it out for yourselves, guys, whatever feels comfortable for yourselves. Getting off the accelerator, on the brakes. As I said, I'm all the way up into sixth gear, so going back to fifth, back to fourth. So once again, off the accelerator, on the brakes, just for that, it's like a 300th of a second. It's like, yeah, off the accelerator, on the brakes, back to fifth, back to fourth, in a straight line, and then tapering off into the corner. You don't want to hang out too much in a straight line and then come across and try to get it in. You do want to keep nice and tight to that curb and try not to wash too far out to the right, because you will you're using too much of the track, so therefore like you're losing too much time. But at the same time, you don't want to hang out and lose too much time coming into the corner. So just keep an eye on that one as well, guys. So yeah, back to fourth, hugging it nice and tight on the left here, coming out as hard as you can, accelerating out, and then I'll talk you through the next bit. As you can see there, nice and tight on that curve, not washing too far out there. And then for the last right-hander onto the main straight, that left blue wall, as everyone knows, at the end of that, I'm pretty sure that's where everyone's braking. I've tried to go later, I've tried to go earlier. I found right on the end of the wall is exactly where I want to brake. So I get on the brakes first, once again, and then back to third, coming across, hugging the right side of the corner as hard as I can on that curb, and accelerating out as hard as possible. But just watch the arse end again, guys. It can get a little bit slippery and want to kick you into that wall coming on the left hand side, coming onto the straight, and that'll just put you out of the race or damage your car and slow you right down, as you'll see, you guys. Nice and tight on that one, and then just accelerating out as soon as you hit your curb or your apex on the right there. So that's another track guide, guys. I will show you through here. I'll try not to talk too much on the cockpit view, because I did do that last week for some stupid reason. All right, here we go. So I'll just, oh, that's not the rear you want. We'll come back just a smidgy. Come back here, get you guys a little bit closer to the action. Actually, I might hold it right there so you guys can see it. All right, guys, so I'll just play the view here, and you guys can have a bit of a look at it inside the cockpit. Coming across nice and tight, as you can see there, not too late. Getting on the accelerator nice and hard. I'll turn that down a smidge. God, that's noisy. Probably can't even hear me. All All right. As you can see there, it gets real slippery, as everyone knows, through that one. So you just got to be real careful. Try to figure out the line. But I've figured out if you come out of that right-hander, keep it straight and then turning it in, it sort of helps a bit more. Well, nice and tight to that wall, guys. Just watch that one coming in there. You do tend to want to overcompensate and get really close, then eat shit. But as you can hear, a little bit of washout with the front end there, getting under brakes. So I might be a little bit late on the braking there. Trying to come out of there, not use too much of the runoff there, guys. Oop, there we go. So you're coming across relatively earlier than what you would on most corners, I suppose, but could be possibly another way to do that one, but that's the one I've found the quickest so far. So that's a full lap in the old cockpit cam there, guys. Alright, we'll just pause that one so it's nice and quiet. Alright, so that's track guide, guys. As usual, I hope you got something out of it. For anyone new that's watching, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you really want to see more content. If you don't, whatever. But yeah, I appreciate anyone jumping in and having a look. And yeah, keeps the channel going. And I really appreciate all the support lately. Go over to TikTok as well, guys, and check me out on there. One of the guys mentioned in SimSpeed on the telecast last week. Yeah, it's a really good platform for if anyone's streaming as well. Go over there. It sounds really funny. Most people go onto Facebook, but man, blowing up. Like I got a 13,000 view video on there for like a 30-second clip the other day. So it really gets people over to your YouTube channel and gets you noticed and having a bit of people having a bit of a look. But yeah, once again, that's another track guide, guys. Hope you got heaps out of it, and can't wait to see you in the race. Cheers, guys.